When I start a painting like this, I'm not working from a fixed idea. I begin with an instinct, usually by sketching the composition with my non-dominant hand to get out of my own way. But even in that looseness, my background in architecture tends to find its way in. I spent several years in classical architecture, studying and designing with systems of proportion, order, and weight. And before that, in college, I was introduced to the idea that classical architecture isn't just formal, it's organic. That a column isn't just a structure, but it's a shape informed by nature, something that echoes the trunk of a tree or the upward motion of growth. In this painting, the columns aren't placed as much as they're arising, almost as if they're growing out of the earth or being unearthed by time. That connection between form and ground, between structure and chaos, is something I tend to return to again and again. The columns act as anchors. They give the eye something recognizable to hold on to, but everything else unravels around them. There's no singular object, just movement, atmosphere, memory. Architectural training gave me discipline, and painting is where I try to let that discipline blur, where precision gives way to emotion, and columns can bend, melt, rise up from the ground like roots, begin to evaporate and disintegrate into abstract moments within the painting. Where there's this dark orb at the base, it might read as a void or a black hole, just a point of gravity. But as I was developing the composition, it became immediately clear to me that what I was seeing was a boulder, and it had rolled to the bottom of what looks like a hill, overgrown with brush. And as I continued to paint, I began to see a figure start to emerge at the top of the mountain, almost with angel wings or something that looks transcendent. And I thought of the idea of the myth Sisyphus, where Sisyphus is doomed to roll a boulder up a mountain every single day and repeat the process again and again because he cheated death. And I thought of this myth and the idea of breaking the cycle of futility in having the boulder rolled all the way down at the bottom of the hill. And I suppose as this idea relates to my career in architecture, I think about the fact that I took a step away from this profession as it was starting to feel like an effort in futility for me to continue, when the training absolutely served me in my artistic endeavors, but I wasn't sure that the profession was. So I like to imagine that the meaning of this painting, in all of its texture, symbology, and detail, is ultimately to recognize the growth that exists in hard work, but know when to break certain cycles.